We're expecting, we saw those sea surface temperatures too.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, that's a great question. It's really surprising, you know, when we're talking about a strong El Nino and what some are calling a super El Nino, right, where it's just so warm in the Pacific that you'd expect that the impacts in the Atlantic would be amplified further. That is the wind shear. They would typically tear these hurricanes apart before they can form, leading to a below normal season. But we're dealing with this tug of war because over in the Atlantic, we've got these anomalously warm sea surface temperatures from a variety of factors. And ultimately, they're forecasting that warmer Atlantic Ocean will ultimately win, that it'll overwhelm any kind of storm defying shearing winds because it's like jet fuel for these systems. So as we get into August and September, and we typically see those trade winds laxing anyway, that the way warmer than normal Atlantic will more than compensate for the otherwise storm ripping apart effects of El Nino. So yeah, it was a little surprising, but at the same time, very telling. And considering we've had this unbelievable June with 3 named storms, I guess it makes sense. If you look back in history at the analogs at other years that have had hurricane activity like this, whenever you have a busy June, that's indicative of a very busy later hurricane season. And I think that's what he was looking at.
Yeah.
For sure. I think a lot of Floridians probably a little bit unnerved with the upgrade in especially the major hurricane, because we think back to last season with Hurricane Ian. We're not only talking about the tropics, though. Of course, we have to talk about the very warm temperatures across Sunshine State. Pretty much par for the course in moments during the summer months. But what are you guys experiencing across Orlando over the next several days? Any cooling trend?
Well, Bridget, I wish I could say that we do have a cooling trend on the way, but unfortunately we are in the doldrums of summer here. The summer heat has arrived and there's no sign of relief except for that odd afternoon thunderstorm like we're seeing right now on the radar behind me. A couple of communities are going from the mid and upper 90s to the 70s briefly as these storms roll through. But as Ian could tell you, as somebody that lived in Florida for a while, when it rains this time of year, it only makes it worse because it adds a lot more steam to the air as it all evaporates and it sends the dew points sky high. But compounding the impacts here is that we've got a southwest flow coming off of the Gulf of Mexico, and that's known here as the reverse flow because typically this time of year we have winds coming from the southeast, the Atlantic side. The Atlantic's a little bit cooler, and also there's less land between Orlando and the Atlantic Ocean versus Orlando and the Gulf of Mexico. So when you have more land, it allows the wind to heat up further, so you get it warmer than normal, and then being the Gulf, it makes the air more humid than normal. So it's like the perfect storm for heat advisories galore, and that's exactly what we're seeing today across South Florida.
Yeah, that is no good. That west wind off the Gulf of Mexico across Tampa Bay is just a disgusting weather pattern to be stuck in. But I'm sure you're telling all your folks to look forward to that cold front that arrives sometime in late October. So it won't be long.
You're just rubbing it in now, Ian.
Just hang in there.
Thanks a lot.
Fox 35 Orlando meteorologist Brooks Garner. Great to chat with you. We'll chat before that next cold front arrives.
We can barely get a cold front here, let alone in the state of Florida.
Yeah. Hey, the heat, we certainly cannot beat it. That has been the story, not just across the United States, but across the world. Millions across America are facing scorching temperatures that aren't expected to ease up.
Scientists say the world experienced 2 of the hottest days ever recorded